Please introduce yourself. Let the audience know a little bit about who you are.
My name is Justine Landis, and I live in the city in York, Pennsylvania, and I've lived there since 1980. Before that, I lived in Hanover, and before that, I was born in New York City and lived there for about 22 years, which makes me a pretty old lady. Right? But anyway, I have painted since I was a little kid, and I went to art school. I went to Parsons School of Design in New York and VCU in Richmond, Virginia, which was part of William and Mary. Then I got married. I had 5 children, and after that I was divorced and I moved to York and worked for the trust. I worked there for about 30 years. Any other questions?
Tell me about your background in art.
In art? Well, I have painted, as I said, all my life. And I recently, well, not the most recent, but one of the recent things I've done was the murals in Cherry Lane. And I did those, and there were 16 of them. So I asked my daughter to help me, and Mrs. Landis helped me also.
Walk me through your art journey, past, present, and future.
My art journey? Well, I was president of the Hanover Art Association, and I painted there and exhibited my paintings with them. That was a long time ago. Then after I worked at the Trust, I was a curator there, and I did a lot of exhibits, and in those exhibits I painted a lot of paintings to go with the exhibits. And after that, I had art classes. I taught art at York College. Let's see, what else did I do? And recently, most recent thing I've done is have an exhibit with Mrs. Landis at the Blue Moon.
Tell me about Lewis Miller many murals you painted.
Oh,
Please.
Well, at first I was very, I really objected to the murals in York because we have such great architecture. And someday walk down the streets of New York City and look at the architecture and you'll see how beautiful it is. But after that, Mr. Appel, who at the time owned Falstaff, asked me to do the Lewis Miller murals. Now, I have some pictures, and I'll pass them around, of myself and my daughter doing the Miller murals. And this is one of them. And you can see that they were pretty high, and they're in Cherry Lane, and there's 16 of them, and you can go down and see them yourself. You can pass those around. And this is one of me painting Mrs. Schreck. Now, Mrs. Schreck is one of Miller's favorite characters. Miller was actually a carpenter, and he loved to draw and paint. And the people he drew in his own way, but you could recognize them. He was very good at that. And he also could speak 3 languages. People thought because his paintings were a little bit not quite right, not quite modern, he was not as intelligent as he should be. But he spoke English, he spoke German best, he spoke English, and then he also spoke a little Latin. So he put the words on his murals also. And here's one he drew of the, I forget which group it was, but it's a group of soldiers going from York to Baltimore. And you can see how the people run across the top of the train. There was no television in those days and not much to do, so running across the top of the train was fun. Yes.
Tell me about your favorite art medium and why it is your favorite medium. Share examples of your favorite work,
I
please.
have a lot of examples of my work here. Yes, I like to paint with acrylics. Now, acrylics dry fast, so you can't push them around. And it means that your colors are more clear and they're very definite. Of course, you can paint over them, but you can't mix them up a lot. Okay? Now, I have some pictures here. This is a picture of Mrs. Landis's youngest son. And we were down at Cross Mill. I don't know if any of you know where Cross Mill is. It's near Stewartstown. You know where it is? Well, this is in front of the mill, and they use a millstone as a doorstep. And Vincy was looking at the millstone. And that's painted in acrylic. Okay? Okay. Now, we have gone to a couple of painting sessions in Italy and in Ireland. This is from one in Ireland, and here I used a different technique. This is a pen which is not a permanent pen. You can take a paintbrush and kind of mush it over. And watercolor pencils. And it's a fairly new technique, but it's fun to do. And this is an Italian farmhouse. I have some small ones that I took pictures of my paintings, and I'll pass these around too so you can see them. This is in Ireland. It's a wreck of a castle in Ireland, and also in acrylic. This is in France, and it's painted in Monet's garden. I don't know if you've ever heard of Monet the painter. This is his garden. This is on Block Island, which is in Long Island Sound, and this is the lighthouse in Long Island Sound. And this is Salisbury Cathedral in England. Now, does this sound like, well, can you guess from this what I usually paint? I usually paint from my travels. I love to travel, and these are from my travels. So those are the group of paintings from my travels. Now, I did some of the, this is one of the ink and watercolor pencils. And this is a landscape. A landscape is a picture of land, actually. And that is from Italy. Now, this is one. It's called French Creek, and that's in Minnesota. My daughter-in-law in Minnesota loves to take her poodle and walk in French Creek, so I went to go one day and painted that. Now, this is Chincoteague. Anybody been to Chincoteague? You have? Good for you. I love Chincoteague. Yes, this is really neat. This is Chincoteague. I didn't put the ponies in, though. And this is Flathead Lake. And Flathead Lake is in Montana. My brother lives in Montana, so while I was visiting him, I did a lot of stuff. That's Flathead Lake. And this is the Villa d'Este, and this is in Italy again. Any more questions?
No.
No?
Thank